What's going on, guys? Back in the garage. We're gonna mess around with the 55 4-door to 2-door conversion a little bit. As I left off, this is what we had. We had the door hung, the rocker in, patch panel in, this little corner piece, I had it started. So I was talking about this rocker twisted down a little bit. So there's a little bit of backstory to that. When I was fitting this door and adjusting it, I had the rocker just capped on, the old one before I cut out. Well, I pulled that cap off and was adjusting my door gaps, and I slid that rocker up and under the car. Well, it was backed out of the garage a little bit of body work going on the other side. I haven't showed you yet. But I went to move the car forward, slipped my mind that I'd laid that rocker under there, and I actually run over it a little bit with the back tire. So after I left, me and Dad got to talking about it, and I think what is actually going on with it is it's a little bit out of shape, even though it's pretty straight. And it was twisted down right there. But when I went back in with it, back here at the back, it's hanging down just a little bit. I didn't think it was in right when I started. And then after I welded that patch back in, I got that little bit of a dip right there. So I think actually what went on is once I put the heat on it, I'm gonna say twisted the rocker back in shape, close to where it needed to be. So anyway, today's plan, I'm gonna cut this back loose right here because I've got to do more work anyway with this rust. I'm gonna raise this up. It's about quarter, maybe 3/8 of an inch down. I didn't like it when I put it in, and I definitely don't like it now. So if I raise that up to match the quarter where it's actually supposed to be, that will get my door gap back to where I want it. And then this rocker is actually, the bottom of it is running at a little bit of an angle, so it has to be twisted up. So I think once I cut loose here, raise it up, get it tacked back in where it's supposed to be, then I'll be able to get this spot where it's supposed to be. Like I said, it kind of got hit with the back tire just a little bit and kind of twisted it out of shape. I kind of got lucky on it. I thought it just bent this piece and nothing out here, but it twisted it just a little bit. But anyways, that's what we got. And that's what we're going to try to tackle this afternoon. All right, guys, I'll bring you back here shortly. See. All right, guys, bring you back for just a second. I done this off camera. It didn't take too long. I'll show you what I done and show you where we're at right now. All right, guys. So here's that rocker. I cut it back loose here. Here, raised that up to where it's supposed to be. So it's right now. I ended up having to cut the front back loose and adjust it some. Wasn't nothing major. So what I'm working on now is, the only thing I done was, cut what little bit of excess off the post, top and bottom. It's just sitting in there. That's going to be my next step. I'm going to get a little time lapse on it here in just a second and show you how I manipulate this post. So I've pretty much got it setting where it goes at the bottom, and I'm pulling measurements off the other side. I'll see if I can show you what I'm going to end up doing here. So as we close this door, you guys can see right in there on the inner side of the door, got about 3/8. That leaves enough room for your door seal when it goes on around here. Now see how far that striker plate and the latch and stuff is. post has got to go forward at the top. So what I done on the other side, and I done it, I can't remember if I done it on camera or not, but I will take and slit this post almost all the way around, and then we're going to take and move this post forward at the top once I tack the bottom, and then that will bring your striker plate and your latch together without having to shim this out when you're still using the 4-door post. I said in an earlier video I didn't know if I was going to have to cut this off. I am going to have to cut it off. So what has to happen on it's going to be your filler plate for your door jamb. When I put the quarter on here, it actually has to be moved forward a little bit. So we'll cut it right down this seam here, and then when I get ready to put the quarter skin on, then I'll get it adjusted where I need it, and you know, that's going to make our door gap. All right, I'll turn some time lapse on, get this post tacked in, and I'll come back. See you guys. It's been a day or two since I've been in the garage. Had to go to shift yesterday, so it's actually Sunday, and we're gonna try to get a little bit of progress on this 55 4-door conversion. So I'll show you what I got and what the start off plan is for today. So where I left off, we got this post in. Got you guys some time lapse of it and how I do it. Puts it in. So when I left off, I was talking about this filler plate. I didn't know whether it had to be removed or not. I removed it on the other side, but it is going to have to be removed. So game plan for today, we're going to cut this filler plate off right here. And then on the other side, what I done, I left that filler plate off. I cut my rear door down to get my quarter. Took this handle off, laid that quarter over the door, tacked it in place back here, and then marked it on the door from the inside. So I think I'm gonna do this one just a little bit different. I'm gonna cut this filler plate off, go ahead and manipulate it where I want it, fit this curve here. Go ahead and get my door gap where my quarter is going to be, which will be the front side of this filler plate, 1/4 inch, all the way down through here, fitting the contour of this door. Then when I cut my rear door down, lay it over top, I'll be able to mark this filler plate that I'm talking about, weld it on, and the quarter will basically be the contour of the door and have my door gap and all that stuff, versus marking it to the door, then getting a filler plate in, having to, cut, grind, weld, all that stuff to get my gap. It should help me get my gap a little bit closer. So we're going to remove that today. Then we're going to do a little bit of rust repair here. This side's not as bad in this corner as the other side, but I'm going to cut a section out, put some new metal in here, and do that. Possibly remove the post today. And then depending on how far I get with things, we'll get that rear door laid up and get it cut down. And I've got time lapse of all the, the post and stuff like that going in. And what I'll try to do, guys, is get you some time lapse of cutting that rear door down on how I de-skin it, per se, cut it down to get my quarter. And then I'll go into showing you how to lay it on the door and, cut it down, or how I'm doing it. So that's what we got so far, guys. I'll bring you back here in a little bit. See you guys. All right, guys, bring you back here just a second, and then we're probably going to cap this video off, get one put out, and then we'll start on another one. As I mentioned earlier, the side's going to make me work for it, and it sure has. So I'll show you what I got going on here. So we got the post in. Door shutting real nice. Everything's lined up good. I got some time lapse of the post. I went ahead and cut the filler piece off. And what I done on it was I went ahead and shaped it to contour this door. It can be moved a little bit. So that way when I lay my quarter skin on, weld right to the edge, I won't have to work with my door gap as much. I'll get this real close before I mark it, and I'll mark it on the inside. Other than that, we was talking about this rocker on the last video, and it sure has made me work for it. So once I got everything in on it, I had a small hump right here on this rocker. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't figure out how to get it out of it. So I cut it back loose back here after I'd already started rust repair. And it still didn't relieve it enough. So as y'all seen me when I was taking the wire wheel cleaning this edge up, we've got some bad spots here. I've also got some bad spots right here in this lip. The car's been hit or bottomed out or something right here. So what was actually going on, whatever hit it right here, pushed this up a little bit. So measuring my wheel well from the other side, this one was about 3/8 higher than the other side. So what I ended up having to do on this rocker to get it good and straight, I actually put a slit in it right here at an angle. Cut it back loose here, let it come down, tight gap here, and then it made a little bit of a gap up here. And then that made my rocker good and straight, and actually made, see if you can see that. So it's good and straight there. And it's also good and straight here. And then by doing that, it actually made my wheel wells the same both sides. So what I ended up having to do, guys, was put about a 3/8 section in all the way around right here. After I'd already done rust repair the first time, then I had to cut it all back loose and add some more. But we got it where we want it now. The door gap is really nice on the bottom. The rocker's good and straight, as I showed you just a second ago, all the way up. So I'm really liking it now. I'll be able to move forward. And it ended up taking all day to do this, but I'm glad I stuck with it and done it. So we got rust repair fixed up here, connected into the firewall post or the door jamb. Everything's good and stiff there. Got the post welded back in, my section in. Everything's good and stiff there. And then we got rust repair. This is ground out a little bit. It will all be covered by the quarter. So we got the top of the post welded in. Looks pretty good. The only thing I'm liking is this patch panel here. This is where the post originally was on the 4-door. So we got our post welded up here too, where I took and slit that post and bowed it forward to make my door latch work without shimming it. We got a nice 2-click, good body lines, all that good stuff. So next part, probably going to end this video here. We're going to cut that door down, de-skin it to make our quarter panel. Then we'll probably chop this post out and get this all laid up, mocked out, ready to go. So that's where we're going to end the video right here, guys. Always like, subscribe, talk to me, guys. I'm having a ball doing this, getting some good feedback. Thank you to everybody that has subscribed. At last check, I was at 497 when this video comes out, so I'm all over 500. I really, really, really appreciate it, guys. Till next time, see you.